or Frank Thomas, that's his name, the baseball player, right? Haven't you seen his commercial for the man juice?
Yeah.
That's what I use. I just mainline that shit.
Zepeda is.
Why do I make Bob? I make Bob a fucking racist. Like, there's shit I do with Bob that is shocking every time I open my mouth. Like, I try to think of the most outrageous things for him to say. Yes, that was a subtle racist jab made by Bob Arum. For those of you going, did I just listen to? Was that a racial? Yes. Do you get it? Do you get the character that I've made of Bob? And Bob's not like that in person. Actually, Bob in person is like your grandpa. Like he's literally just a guy who wants to eat a bowl of soup and watch boxing and make fights. Like he's literally. I'm gonna say this for the record because I've never said it. I've sat down at a table. I've eaten food at the same table. Bob is nice. He's congenial. He talks to the press. But the fact that I can make him like a cross between the Penguin and a Ku Klux Klan member, to me, is hilarious. And he's involved in human. If you're not keeping up, he's involved in human trafficking of Russians. I'm sorry, Andrew. I just had to get that out of my system. I don't think I've ever done that. It is. We'll talk about the schedule later on. Let's turn to this lovely little story that I can't even make up. Manny Pacquiao's son is fighting in his first
We didn't even talk
fight.
about the. Wait a minute. Can we sell the fight real fast?
We will. Boxing schedule's at the end. We can go back to it.
All right.
I was just leading off with it because I wanted to make it sound like we were relevant.
Oh, jeez. It's a good fight. He's ranked 10th in the world in the junior welter. We'll get into it later. Manny Pacquiao's son. This comes to us from Rico, Montana, at Cloud World Media on YouTube, if you're watching the video clips. This is, Lee, what you're watching right now is the easiest fixed fight a man could make.
Well, how long before I get Pacquiao versus Pacquiao for $100 million? Like, I can already tell you the story you need to tell people. Like, the kid's mad at the father. He cheated on my mom. I just want my little piece of the pie. Al Heyman should be on this like a cheap suit, dude.
I see.
Andrew? I want to sign up for Top Rank Gay. I would take him. I would take him over a Golden Boy, right? But if Bob gets him, Bob will make that fight, eh?
Why is Oscar becoming a gangbanger now?
He is. No, Oscar is a gangbanger. Okay. Just not the type you're thinking about.
Hey. Too much time in my own native hood. So Manny Pacquiao's happy that his son is going to get his head back.
Seriously. Hey, yeah, but seriously, that guy wasn't fighting. Come on, that was pathetic.
I get that. This is a propaganda piece. I'm with you.
Yeah.
But,
that was stupid.
But the reality, he's better looking than his dad. He looks like his mom. That's a plus.
That's a plus. That might get him. That'll get him an endorsement right there, right?
I don't know. Okay, this is going to be a racist statement. Filipino women all kind of look the same to me. They're just. I know. I was a little embarrassed that I said it too. So shout out to Emmanuel Pacquiao, who should be fighting for the PBC. What, next 6 months, Andrew?
No, I think they'll do about 40 fights in the Philippines so they can get his money right over there before they try to transition him into an American star. I don't see them pushing this.
I can hold them up.
Yeah, but Oscar, you push him a little too fast, and the money won't be there. We've seen you ruin a lot of.
To fight Canelo.
Yeah, and he's not undefeated. You see, that's the problem.
Oh, that's hilarious. Well, shout out to Emmanuel Pacquiao. Hopefully,
does he
have
think
more
it's
brain
real?
cells.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't think it's real.
Speaking of Canelo,
hey, Andrew, can we talk about my star?
Fight of the year. Go ahead.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
You know that he started training camp? You want to see him punch in the bag? He looks like a superstar against the bag. Hold on. Look at him, Andrew. He's badass. I said, hey, you want to do some cocaine first? He said, no. He just wanted to hit the bag. He did want to eat some cattle. Do you know what that means?
It's so nice to punch bags.
Canelo started back. This coming to us from Boxing Scene. They were happy enough to go down to a camp wherever Canelo trains in San Diego. I think he trains in San Diego now. Canelo is back. He's hitting the bag.
Of course, he tested positive for steroids because of Mexican beef. He can never go back during training.
Andrew, as long as you don't talk about his fucked up knee, I'm cool. Okay.
I see him doing press appearances in Mexico. I don't see him training out there any longer. No. Cannot risk that anymore.
Hey, Canelo is so rich he could go anywhere. Eh? I'm just like Al Heyman. I'm the Mexican Al Heyman.
Yeah, with one guy right now though. That's the problem.
Hey, shut up, fucker! I'll kick your ass.
Hey, he is like that, huh? Dana White wanted to fight him right away.
Get in line, fucker.
Get in fucking line.
Get in fucking line. You don't know what it's like. You're not Boyle Heights.
Lee, how do you know? Because I grew up in Montebello. Oscar lived on the other side of the hill from me when he was not even famous. Oscar grew up in Montebello, people. It's kind of East LA adjacent.
Look at that wish list, boy. That's Top Rank, too. Top Rank will do it. Top Rank will absolutely do that.
Expensive, so when he came out of the Olympics, he lived in the most expensive home in Montebello, which is like saying, I don't even know what that means in English, because the most expensive home in Montebello back in the 80s doesn't mean dick, really the 90s, but it doesn't mean dick. But I digress. Jose Ramirez wish list. Oh, good for you, Jose.
No, those are all Top Rank. That's all Top Rank.
Right? I want Loma, then Progress, then Crawford. I'm just going to take them all. I'm just a badass.
Seriously, Lee?
Me how this dude right here seems to think that he's taking out the entire Top Rank. Like, first of all, if he even took out one of those guys, right? There is no way Bob's putting him in line to take out Lomachenko or Crawford. Like, let's just say that this man is legit. All right.
It all builds up to Crawford, though. Whoever wins this tournament, don't you see? Those are all top ranked guys. You can make that a tournament to Crawford, Progress, Lomachenko, and Ramirez.
They really all fight believe in my lifetime that Lomachenko is going to fight in a dangerous fight?
Well, he has no other options. He's fighting so many champions in these lower league. This is what is like 10th world champion. He's fighting this. That's if Richard Comey actually fights.
No, we're going to get to that in a few minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Comey's out of the fight. Comey's out.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about it shortly. But all right, let's talk about Ramirez, right? And the top ranked stable of guys that they're building at this very bizarre weight class. Because truthfully, for those of you who don't know or haven't been following along, the PBC has bought up the entire welterweight division. So Bob, in turn, decided, I'm going to control all the lightweights, right? HBO decided they were going to control all the bantam and straw weights, while Eddie Hearn decided, and Eddie Hearn was going to control all of the heavyweights. What does that leave for Oscar?
Yeah, I got the middleweights. Right here. I got your
He's doing really good too, Lee.
All right. So everybody's got their niche in boxing. And nobody's really playing up this story, but if you look at it objectively, all of these promoters have picked out like little niches, right? And Bob's big money maker are the lightweights. That's where the money's at, right? What are we seeing in Fresno? Guys who are not welterweights. What are we seeing with Lomachenko? A guy who's never going to be a welterweight. Crawford, not a welterweight. Like, it's...
Don't you get it, though? Lomachenko is 34. By the time he fights Ramirez, I believe he's 34. You could fact check me on that. But he's on the downside, Lee, and he got dropped in his last fight against Jorge Linares. Do not be surprised if Bob sets him up to make Ramirez...
I'm not going to set up the greatest fighter of all time.
Oh,
my
stop.
God, he's 197 million and for.
I don't give a fuck. I'm
still trying to lobby to get that loss taken off his record.
Yeah, I'll never forget Manny Pacquiao versus Timothy Bradley. I'll never forget Manny Pacquiao, Juan Manuel Marquez, number 4. Okay, when
That's
Marquez
back when I cared, Andrew. That's back when I cared.
Don't give me that BS, Bob. I know damn well Ramirez is the future for Terrence Crawford.
All right, you want another stone that broke my back, Andrew? I'm going to just tell you.
Mexican-American versus African-American.
That fight for that ungrateful Oscar De La Hoya against Felix Strum. I mean, that's the one that really. Hey, don't talk about. I beat Felix. You said I beat Felix.
Don't have me argue with the fictional Bob Arum. I will argue with anybody, Lee. God damn it, that fight will get made. That is a Mexican American versus an African American. Bob says those tickets sell. They sell second best.
Oh my God! If I could get a KKK member in there, it'd just be a multi-million-dollar maker.
It's the second best ticket seller to what? A Mexican versus a Puerto Rican. We've heard Bob say it.
Puerto Rican is awfully good. Why do you think I'm so strong down in Puerto Rico? I just keep shipping in Mexican.
I'm telling you. So no, Lomachenko. That this could be his retirement fight. Could be Jose Ramirez. I'm not saying this year. I'm not saying it happens this year. But don't be surprised. Don't be like, oh wow, I can't believe Bob did that. He does that all the time. It's what keeps the ball rolling. Manny would have already been knocked out by Terrence Crawford if Pacquiao and Freddie Roach didn't turn down that fight. It had nothing to do with Bob. I know that's what he's saying now, and I think that's because he wants to make the relationship with Manny good for the future. There could be a fight down the way. We see them using fighters all the time. I don't give a shit if Manny loses to Spencer Garcia. That doesn't mean Bob doesn't use them for a Crawford fight later on. So I believe that's the only reason why Mr. Arum all of a sudden now is saying he's the one that killed that fight. When I covered that issue, Freddie Roach and Manny Pacquiao said, we want $25 million or we're not fighting, period. And that fight don't generate that, Lee. When Terrence Crawford he's fighting in Nebraska at this time. He's selling out an arena in Nebraska when they're asking for $25 million guaranteed. Fuck out of here.
Andrew?
Yes, sir.
I want to ask your opinion. I'm having a meeting in Fresno, allegedly Fresno. You know what I mean? So I'm having a meeting with my team later. I'm thinking of renaming Michael Conlon. Tell me what you think. Whitey McWhite guy Conlon. What do you think? You think the mob people like that shit? I'm thinking of getting hats made. Make Michael great again. Long live white pride.
If you're listening to the show and that's your first moments and it didn't make you laugh, I suggest stopping at the 1 hour marker of this show. This show's just not for you because it's going to get a lot worse right now.
Oh, no. Here we
Marcos
go.
Maidana returns to the ring with the PBC. Yes, you heard it correctly. Former 2-division world champion Marcos, I'm fatter than fuck, Maidana, is planning to return to the ring.
I'm broke as fuck. He picked one.
Intends to return to the ring under the PBC banner. It gets crazier. Maidana, who is 35 years old, has been out of the ring since losing a decision to Floyd Mayweather back in 2014. He's also famous on YouTube for being fat as fuck. But
you know what I love about
he wants to be back and at weight class, Andrew, by the summer.
Well, that's doable. He won't be fight ready, but he can go on a diet. That's doable.
Okay, you've seen Fat Maidana, right? You've seen the video.
Yes.
Okay. And it's a long cry from this Maidana that we're watching on the screen. Like when he was an actual...
Like I said, he can go on a diet. Doesn't mean he'll be ready to fight. There's a difference.
Why is Al Heyman doing this? I'm sorry. Why is Leonard Ellerbe and Floyd Mayweather doing this?
What I love about this is for all the fans that go, see, this is what Floyd does. He changes people's lives. Look at how he retired Madonna. Madonna's living the life of a king now. What the fuck? 5 years later, he's asking to come back. That retirement didn't last too long, you guys. You need to shut up with all that. Oh, Floyd has fighters retire. No, he doesn't. This guy tried to live a life that he did not have it financially, and now he's back in 5 years to fight again. So very sad.
The announcement from a bathtub. I opted not to use that video because it was just so fucking wrong that this guy wanted to hide his body under suds and soap.